What up? What up? What up? So I'm back. Let's have a little story time. Let's talk for a moment. So I just want to first say this. Like I have a lot of amazing moments every single day as I'm speaking, as I'm traveling the country, as I'm living life as a dad, as a husband. But I like to share a lot of these struggle and these challenge stories because there's not much. Yeah, there's things that we can learn through a lot of the great moments, and I take a lot of those learning lessons. But um, I think there's a lot we can learn from just our challenges as well. So, of course, y'all, it's another story time. So, let's get into it, or let's start. Let's get ready. So, 3 or so weeks ago, got a chance to speak to an audience, and the audience is fairly large. So, it was two audiences back to back. I was going to have 30 minutes each with each audience, and each audience had around 2,000 people in it. Now, the first challenge is when I'm usually speaking, I usually get between 45 minutes to an hour. An hour is usually the sweet spot, but I can do 45 minutes, still be effective, all those things. So when I was asked to do 30 minutes, I thought maybe I did 30 minutes before. I don't know if I did, but I felt pretty confident that I can do it because I'm up for the challenge. Let's go. What can we cut? Sometimes speakers talk too much anyway, but because everything I do is very experiential with the collecting of the fears and the music and all those things, I was like, all right, let's see if we could do it. So I knew that we can make it happen. I had it good. I was ready to go. So we go through sound check. Everything's working. I decide, which I usually never do, decide to let the team use their computer because we wanted the confidence monitor. So in front of you as a speaker, sometimes in certain locations you'll have a TV in front of you, which can have either your slide, so you can see, you don't have to look to the left and the right, or there's something called presentation view. And on presentation view, you can see what's called the presentation view on your computer. So you can see what your computer sees when you click present, which is your current slide, your next slide, and maybe any notes or reminders that you have in front of you. So because I had 30 minutes, I knew that I wanted just certain notes to remind me, hey, stay on track here. Make sure you don't go off here. So I wanted that presenter view. In order to do that, I said, all right, because certain things weren't working, I said, all right, let's go ahead and have the team use their computer. So I uploaded my presentation on there, all that good stuff. All right, to the story, what happened? So about to speak, right? Introducing Darryl Bellamy Jr. I click my clicker, and guess what? No music happens. I usually come on to music. So imagine I'm coming out from the side right here, 2,000 people looking forward, and I'm like, oh, right? Everything is quiet. So then my first thought is, wait, is my clicker not working? Or am I on the wrong slide? I mean, sometimes if you click the wrong slide or they don't have my slide up, things don't work. So now I jog down the middle of the aisle, which I usually go. I just quickly go to the booth. Again, the audience is a little silent, but they're getting ready. They're starting to clap, like they see me running. Nothing happens, right? So then I just abort mission. So I just run to the stage with no music. As I run to the stage, I'm like, oh shoot, this is not good. This is not good. Like I'm like, I'm like, no. Because I'm used to things working the way that they work. So I get on stage, y'all, and I pause, right? Again, the room is totally silent. And then I just go into the presentation with my first question. Like, how many of you have ever faced any fear or uncertainty, right? And I'm flowing, but in my mind throughout the entire 25 minutes, because right as I sometimes show fears on the screen, right, there's sometimes little light music playing as people are actually writing a song playing, and there's no music throughout. So in my mind, I'm really like tortured. But here's the thing: I made it through the presentation. I kept going. I cut those moments where music or sound or videos would come in. I said them out my mouth. I got off stage, and again, as a speaker who knows what 100% looks like, knows what it feels like when you actually kill it, I get off stage and I'm in my head. And the first person that comes on was like, yo, Darryl, that was amazing. That was great. Like I just had three friends text me and say like that was one of the best keynotes they've ever heard. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm like, okay, that's great. And then I tell the person who's sitting in front of me, because they are an officer for the organization, meaning they will see it again in an hour because I have to redo it again to another 2,000 people. I'm like, all right, that was all right. The music didn't work, but even next time is going to be even 10 times better. But there's a few things that story reminded me of. One is how I was able to make it through that presentation with no music, no sound like I was used to. And it was because years ago, probably when I first started, y'all, I spoke to a group of maybe 60, 50 or so emerging leaders at a college or university at that point. And I was at a campground. They had a building or whatever. We weren't outside. It was like a nice camp space where people do conferences and leadership stuff at. And guess what? Like the music, based on the storm, all the lights went out. And when all the lights went out, I not only didn't have any music or sound, y'all, I had no presentation. And we had a conversation. We talked. The keynote went well. It wound up being one of my best presentations that year. And because I had that experience where things didn't go right and I survived, when this happened, in my mind, I was like, Daryl, you're going to be okay. You're going to, like things are going to work out. Like, this is going to go fine. Even though in my head, I was beating myself up. The second thing is, what is the second thing I wanted to say? Like being prepared, right? So I'll often get people who come up to me after a keynote or a speech, or just I'll get an email like, Daryl, what do you do when you get nervous? Or how do you make sure that those nerves don't come? What do you do when things don't go wrong? And the best preparation for being able to adjust when things don't go right, which they will, right? In every presentation, there might be something that happens, or an audience member says something, and we're able to like adjust and move, and right. The only reason to do that is being able to is based on the reps I've been able to put in. So being able to speak 45 to 60, 50 times a year in audiences. Back in the day it was 50. Now my usual audience might be like 100, 200, 300. Biggest 4,000 plus. I did even more than that on Zoom or online. Because I've done it so many times, I was able to just step into it. But this was a brand new presentation. Yeah, I would have been calm, but it might have not been succinct because I wouldn't have had the reps that I put in. So I'm just saying, like, don't discount the practice that you put in, and know that if you are struggling, if you are challenged with things that might feel new, that you might be fearful or uncertain about when it comes to the change and everything that's happening in the world today, just know that sometimes you just got to put in the time, and time is the best medicine when it comes to getting better, when it comes to improving, and when it comes to getting comfortable. But I wanted to share that story because, y'all, I cannot tell you how I felt throughout the whole presentation, how I was literally dying inside, but it all went okay. The second presentation with the music went well. I killed it, but it was only because I failed like that before. I didn't fail, but that happened before. I do this for a living. I practice what I'm going to say. I know the words. I understand the audience. All of those things allow me to be able to adjust when something happens. And that creates that comfort. So that's what I want to share. Happy Wednesday. Love you. Appreciate you. I'll meet you at the top because the bottom is getting way too crowded. Peace.